Hello and welcome back, everybody. We are here for another unboxing. This time we have the Mutant Menace Fallout Commander Precon. Still have a whole bunch of other Precons to open up, and when I asked my close friends which ones they wanted to see me open up next, this was the one that they had chosen. So, without further ado, let's get them open. So I've actually, what's the best way to open this? Let's do it from the top. I have played with this deck before, and I did like it a lot. It was a lot of fun. There is a new mechanic where you use rad counters. So at the beginning of your upkeep, I think it is. I could be wrong. I'll have to double check. Maybe it's your first main phase. You mill cards equal to the number of rad counters you have, and you lose 1 life for each non-land card milled that way, and then you also reduce your rad count by 1. Holy cow, this is in there tight. That's what you got in there. Oh, there we go. Alright, comes with the cool deck box featuring the Wise Mothman. Here it is. 4 mana, 3/3. Whenever it enters or attacks, each player gets a rad counter. And then 1 or more non-land cards are milled. Put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to X target creatures, where X is the number of non-land cards milled this way. Very relevant because it's not just you milling cards, so even if you're up against other players that care about mill, it can be very beneficial for you. Got the neat little tokens there. This is probably a strategy insert. Here we are. I'll open it up just so you guys can see all of it. Oh, nice. Great big poster featuring the Mothman. Given a little description, the Master Transcendent. So that might be the alternate commander. We'll have to take a look. Goes over kind of the strategy. Play with, yeah, there it is. Mills that many cards on their turn. Okay, so it doesn't mention when during the turn you do that, but I'm sure we can look it up and figure it out. All right, so we'll move that out of the way. See, I don't think they're... Oh, we got a little bit more. There we are. All right, so we've got the little collector booster sample pack and the spin down. I was thinking maybe to get some more active participation. I have all these little booster packs and some collector booster samples, play boosters. Maybe I'll have to do a giveaway or something where I can send this out. If I see some increased participation, maybe I'll just ask for like, comment, subscribe, something like that. We can do a giveaway. I still have to figure out how I want to do something like that, so just, I don't know, throw a comment down, let me know what you think I should do, and we can, I guess, figure something out from there. I can make a post about it. All right, so let's get this opened up. There should be a tab somewhere around here. I think that's it. Oh, well, might not be opening it as intended, but getting it open. Maybe that's something I'll have to be better about, opening these packs. I think I struggled with the Sultai Arisen one last time. Okay, let's get that garbage out of the way. We can start covering all the cards. Yeah, that looks really nice. Fortunately, these aren't all Pringled like some of the other cards that have been coming out. I think they've really done a good job improving on that. Okay, so here's that Master Transcendent, the alternate commander. When this one enters, target player, so not each player, just target player gets 2 rad counters. And then you can tap and put target creature card in a graveyard that was milled this turn onto the battlefield under your control. It's a green mutant with base power and toughness 3/3. It loses its other colors and creature types. So it's a pretty cool one. Maybe getting to use your opponent's cards against them. That's sweet. Vexing Radgoal. Deal combat damage. Each player gets 2 red counters. If they don't have any, otherwise proliferate. So that's pretty cool. It's gives you a good start on getting red counters on other players, and then you can proliferate them otherwise. And yeah, even if there are other counters you want to throw on other permanents for players, you can do that too. Boatfly Swarm. Yeah. Once again, I'm still kind of trying to figure out the formula. If you guys want me to read each card, or if you just want me to, I don't know, kind of hover over them, give you guys enough time to read through it and digest. Yeah, I have played with this Precon before, and it was a lot of fun. Oh, the Lumbering Vegasloth. 12 mana, 8/8. It costs 1 less for each counter among players and permanents, so it plays in with the rad counters. It trample, and then it enters the battlefield tapped. Contaminated Drink. Draw X cards, and you get half X rad counters rounded up. Kind of plays into that self-mill if you want it. Very nice that it's an instant. Nightkin Ambusher. When it enters, target player gets 4 rad counters. Can't be blocked as long as defending player has a rad counter. So very awesome. It's got some protection, beef stick, and helps with that rad counter strategy. Now, I haven't played any of the Fallout games. Maybe I should. I love getting to open up some of these universes beyonds just to see, I don't know, kind of what the universes would look like if they are Magic cards. Now, do I like seeing them in competitive play? That's another thing. But I don't need to go there. That can be a discussion for another time. Cultivate, new artwork. It's very nice. Got the little tuna can there. Maybe that's sardines. Farseek, another classic reprint. I really like the artwork. Harmonize, draw 3. I'm already ghoul. What more can the sun do? Draw a card for each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Those creatures gain indestructible until end of turn. Seems like a very strong card. I'm not sure how much +1/+1 counter stuff we're gonna have going on in this deck. But I mean, even if you just have 2, that's instant speed divination that makes your creatures indestructible until the end of the turn, which is pretty cool. Corpse Jack Menace. It's a classic reprint. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a creature you control, you get to put twice that many on it instead. Good stat line, 4/4 for 4. Very fitting. Putrefy. Yep. Classic reprint. Winding Constrictor, there's another one. If I recall, I think the first printing of this card was Aether Revolt. I'm not certain on that, though. Arcane Signet. Commander Classic. Contagion Clasp. Yep, when it enters the battlefield, put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. Proliferate. It's a classic. So there is some counter strategies in here, and proliferate for all of them. Soul Ring. Talisman of Curiosity. So these are just some more classic mana rocks with unique art. Very nice. Talisman of Dominance. Talisman of Resilience. So they have one for each of the color pairings. Ash Barons used to be pretty common in a lot of Pauper decks. I'm not sure how often you see them in there anymore. Command Tower. What is that? Lucky 38. I know each vault, each Fallout vault was supposed to have its own unique twist to it, and I think maybe that one must have been a casino. If I am chancing a guess. Evolving Wilds. Jason Bright Glowing Prophet. So I know people that look like this are referred to as ghouls in the game. The radiation has kind of just warped them, and so that's what they look like now. Mirelurk Queen, 4/4 for 5. Vigilance, when Mirelurk, it's probably just Mirelurk. Queen enters the battlefield, target player gets 2 rad counters. When 1 or more non-land cards are milled, draw a card and then put a +1/+1 counter on Mirelurk Queen. This ability triggers only once each turn. Yeah, that seems pretty fair. It gets really fun when everyone has rad counters, though. So you're guaranteed to trigger it once every turn, pretty much. Piper Wright, Public Reporter. 2 mana, 1/2, deals combat damage to a player. Investigate that many times. When you sacrifice a clue, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Ooh, that is a pretty sweet card. Rad Storm, 4 mana, proliferate with Storm. It's pretty cool. Struggle for Project Purity. 4 mana enchantment. As it enters the battlefield, choose Brotherhood or Enclave. Brotherhood, at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent draws a card. You draw a card for each card drawn this way. That is cool. Enclave. Whenever a player attacks you with 1 or more creatures, that player gets twice that many rad counters. That is also really cool. Sounds like a fun card to run in this deck. Feral Ghoul. 3 mana, 2/2 Menace. Whenever another creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Feral Ghoul. When Feral Ghoul dies, each opponent gets a number of rad counters equal to its power. Hancock, Ghoulish Mayor. Each other creature you control that's a zombie or mutant gets +X/+X, where X is the number of counters on Hancock, Ghoulish Mayor. And then it's Undying. So kind of like a Lord in a way. You just have to make sure there's some counters on Hancock. And then you're also hoping to have a bunch of mutants, but from the looks of it, most of the creatures in here are mutants. That's nice. Nice little board wipe. Gives out rad counters as well. So from what I see here, it does look like this deck does a really good job of getting rad counters on players and then also proliferating. And then there's some, small +1/+1 counter synergies as well that get to play off that proliferate for the rad counters too. Alright. I'm trying to lay all these out so you can also see as I'm putting them down, but I don't think I'll have enough room. I still have all these to get through. Oh, there's a cool equipment. It has trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, put that many +1/+1 counters on it. So it just makes them bigger and bigger. One thing I find interesting about equipment is you can't unequip an equipment. I guess unless it specifically says so. In order to take it off a creature, you have to equip it on something else most of the time. Yao Guai. It's pretty cool. Strong Brutish Thespian, 6 mana, 7/7. Ward 2, Enrage. Whenever Strong is dealt damage. Okay, so they cut out the full name. You get 3 rad counters and put 3 +1/+1 counters on Strong. You gain life rather than lose life from radiation. That is cool. Tato Farmer. 3 mana, 1/4, landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may get 2 rad counters. So it's optional. And you can put target land in a graveyard that was milled this turn onto the battlefield under your control tapped. Pretty cool. Some slight ramping there, I guess. Also feeds into the self-mill strategy. Watchful Red Stag. Whenever he evolves, create a token that's a copy of it. Okay, that's pretty cool. Here we go. Agent Frank Horrigan. 7 mana, 8/6 trample. It has indestructible as long as it attacked this turn. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, proliferate twice. It's a good way to just keep a ton of rad counters on your opponents and swing in with a massive beat stick. Alpha Deathclaw. 6 mana, 6/6 menace trample. When it enters the battlefield or becomes monstrous, destroy target permanent. Nice little removal piece on a creature. Atomize, destroy non-land permanent, proliferate. Very cool. Notably an instant. Marcus Mutant Mayor, 5 mana, 4/4, vigilance trample. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. If that creature has a +1/+1 counter on it, if it doesn't, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Very cool. Makes your creatures bigger. If they're already bigger, then you get more cards to play. Mutant Advantage, 3 mana instant. Permanents you control with counters on them gain hexproof and indestructible until the end of the turn. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to those permanents this turn, proliferate. Very, very strong card. Vault 87, Forced Evolution. Gain control of target non-mutant creature for as long as you control Vault 87. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It becomes a mutant in addition to its other types. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among mutants you control. Pretty cool. Pretty unique, but it does, I really like the card draw. Just takes a while to get there. Nuke Launcher, another equipment. The equipped creature has +3/+0 and Intimidate. Whenever equipped creature attacks until the end of defending player's next turn, that player gets 2 rad counters whenever they cast a spell. That seems pretty good. Makes the creature a lot stronger and makes it harder to be blocked, and it fuels the rad counter strategy, which we really like. Recon Craft Theta. ATBs make a 0/0 blue alien creature token, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Whenever it attacks, proliferate. Okay, so you can't use the alien originally to crew it, but after you get an attack and you proliferate, then maybe you can. Something to keep in mind. Alright, so we'll have some lands here. You may have Mariposa Military Base enter the battlefield tapped. If you do, you get 2 rad counters. Tap to add colorless, pay 5 to tap, and draw a card. It costs 1 less to activate for each rad counter you have. That is pretty cool. It's an optional tapped, and then you get some payoff to start drawing cards. So here's some just classic. These are the filter lands. Actually, no, I'm not sure what these are called. But yeah, filter land would not be the correct name for it. Fraying Sanity, this is a reprint. 3-mana enchant player. At the beginning of each end step, the enchanted player mills X cards, where X is the number of cards put into their graveyard from anywhere this turn. What a name. Inexorable Tide. 5-mana enchantment. Whenever you cast a spell, proliferate. It's proliferate strategies. Branching Evolution. I think this one's new. 3-mana enchantment. If one or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a creature you control, twice that many are put on that creature instead. Feels like this card already exists, but I don't know. I don't remember it. Guardian Project. Hardened Scales, that's a classic. That one, I believe, was first printed in the original Khans of Tarkir. Nice little alternate artwork. Tireless Tracker, classic. That was from... oh god, I want to say one of the newer Innistrad sets. Maybe it's like Shadows over Innistrad or something like that. Biomass Mutation, notably an instant. Casualties of War. 6 mana, choose one or more. It's pretty cool. Targeted removal, a bunch of different card types. Notably, target land does not have to be... so you can even destroy a basic land if you want. Oh. Find or Finality. Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. You may put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature you control. Then all creatures get -4/-4 until end of turn. Okay. So the right side's almost like a more expensive Languish, but it lets you put 2 +1/+1 creature counters on a creature you control before you wipe. Darkwater Catacombs. Okay, so this is the other one, then tap for 2. It's weird that it was so far separated from the others. Drowned Catacomb, Exotic Orchard, the different artwork. Fetid Pools, nice little cycle land. Also has the Island Swamp type in there. So we're going through all the non-basic lands now. Nesting Grounds. 1 tap, move a counter from target permanent you control onto another target permanent. Activate only as a sorcery. So this is a good way to spread around those +1/+1 counters to reap more of the benefits on those cards we saw earlier. Sunken Hollow. Temple of Deceit. Nice little alternate artwork. That Temple cycle came out in the original Theros. Temple of Malady. Temple of Mystery. Okay, so they got the full, all 3 of them there. Woodland Cemetery. Mortuary Mire. That way we can get one of our creatures back, throw it back on top of the library. Opulent Palace. Classic Sultai Triland. Maybe that's the Wise Mothman in the background there. I'm not quite sure, but I do like the artwork nonetheless. You got all the little fireflies glowing around. Path of Ancestry. Tainted Isle. Tainted Wood. Temple of the False God, classic. Terramorphic Expanse, the other Evolving Wild. Oh, cool. Okay, so they did full art basics for this set. That's really cool. Not sure why they had the swamp art separated from the others, but that's all right. They kind of did the same thing with the forests here. That's really cool. I like how they did the full art lands for these. The artwork just looks really cool. All right, is this the? Yeah, this is the fit card. I noticed they didn't have the thick cards in the Tarkir Dragonstorm Precon. Really not upset over that at all. I don't really care for it, and if they can give the players better margins, I'm all for it. Here's the 0/0 alien for the Recon Craft Theta down there. Some zombie mutants. Oh, there's another alien. Where's not? All right. Here are the rad counters for all the players. Oh, and it describes it at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase. Okay, so it's pre-combat main phase when you do that. If you have any rad counters, mill that many cards. For each non-land card milled this way, you lose 1 life and a rad counter. Okay. It's really nice how they have that explained there, because I was like, I have absolutely no idea how to do this. We can, yep. They're the double-sided tokens, of course. Clue tokens, copy tokens, because we do have some of that. All right, cool. So that is the Mutant Menace Commander Precon. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if there are any other Precons you want to see me open up next. And yeah, leave a comment. Let me know if you want me to do some sort of giveaway with these. Also have to figure something out, see what I want to end up doing, but yeah. Until next time, cheers.